Why, hello everybody, it is Kyle here with Unboxed Autos, and today we are here in something a little bit more on the practical side, something that would be good for families, and that is the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Edition. Now, the Calligraphy Edition sits at the very top of the spectrum when it comes to trim levels. We have here the keys to this guy, and in this review we're going to go ahead and talk about the exterior design, talk about how it drives on the road. We're going to take it for a test drive, of course, talk about the technology, pricing, powertrains, and all of that good stuff. So we're going to go ahead now and get started. Everybody, here before us we have the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy Edition. Now, as I was saying before, the Calligraphy Edition here sits at the very top of the trim level pile. Now, this vehicle starts at $41,110. Now, if you don't feel like paying nearly $50,000 for a family crossover, they also have the SE base model, which comes in at $27,000. However, the Calligraphy Edition, which was introduced in 2021, really does have some exceptional features. And we have these really nifty 20-inch wheels. I think they look super cool. Really nice design. I feel like it fits the rest of the profile of the vehicle very well. Somewhat edgy too, and they're really, honestly, they're fun to look at and they look cool even when the vehicle's just sitting still. As you guys can see here, we have the LED daytime running lights. Now, the headlights are actually here more in the front bumper versus up top. Up top is really more of just a design element there, as you guys can see with the daytime running lights. And right here, front and center, we have the Hyundai logo. Below that, we have a front-facing camera. We have a 360-degree bird's eye view camera. Down here, we have the sensor for the distance-guided cruise control and forward collision warning with assist. So the vehicle can actually go ahead and come to a stop if it feels that an impact could happen. Now, another interesting thing here about the Santa Fe is that it comes in 3 different versions. You actually can get it here in the standard version with either the base normally aspirated engine or the turbocharged engine, or there is actually also available a hybrid version as well, or a plug-in hybrid. So plenty of different options to choose from in regards to powertrain that fit your needs. Now, new for 2022 is a more rugged XRT trim. Comes with Meteor tires, just an overall more rugged appearance, really for people who are looking to go out in the outdoors a lot, do camping, etc. But for those of you who are just really looking for a family vehicle, something that's going to be very comfortable, this particular Calligraphy Edition is obviously a great way to go with that. And again, it's very luxurious, honestly, especially with the Napa leather interior, which we'll get more into that in a minute. Now, the standard engine on the SE model and on the other trims as well is a normally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. It only makes 191 horsepower, which is not ideal. Honestly, it's a pretty large vehicle, especially if you get it in the all-wheel drive version. Adds a little bit of weight to that as well. Comes in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So there's, quite a bit of weight to haul around. So I really honestly would suggest you upgrade to the turbocharged 2.5 liter. And that makes 277 horsepower. Now, the 8-speed automatic transmission that's in this vehicle is really very good. And we'll, of course, get more into that as we, talk more about the driving experience of the Hyundai Santa Fe. Now, the other thing that we're going to note just before we peek inside here is the 311 foot-pounds of torque that come in at just 3,500 RPMs in the higher engine model here, which we have, and does 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds, which is really quite quick, all things considering. So here we have the door panels. We have a relatively soft material here, overcoating the top. Down here in the middle, we have this plastic-like trim, and then right here, I'd say this is the only area here where we kind of fall out of place. We have this very plasticky looking material, and that comes just above this leather here and below some of these nicer trim pieces. So kind of stands out right here is just a little bit cheap right here in this area. But as far as convenience, we do have a 2 3-person memory for the driver's seat, which is great. Decent door handles to latch onto. Nothing crazy there as far as design goes. I do like their window controls. They are large, and they also, they feel nice to the touch. They don't feel too cheap. So I think that is definitely nice. We have our accent stitching here on the interior door panel. And then we have a optional premium Harman Kardon sound system. And I like what they did here. They added texture to the speakers to add a cool design aspect. Definitely like that. I was also surprised at really just how nice these seats are. Again, this is this high-end Napa leather here that we get in the Calligraphy edition. Nice side bolsterings. The seats, again, are quite comfortable. And I was surprised that we actually get a thigh extension as well. So that's right there. You get thigh extension, 4-way lumbar support as well. And of course, your standard controls. So really, again, the seats are very nice, very comfortable, and eloquently soft. And again, love this little diamond pattern here as well. It gives it a nice design touch for sure. And in a minute, we'll go ahead and step inside. But first, we're going to go ahead and show you guys the back seat and the trunk space. Lots of trunk space in this guy. So again, we have the cool speaker design followed to the rear. We have rear manual sunshades. This is always, I always really liked this. And not only is it great if you have kids or babies, but, honestly, if you're just a regular passenger, sometimes, the sun is in your way and you don't have a visor. So they give you this nice sunshade. It's really nice. Another thing to note about the interior is this just absolutely massive panoramic view sunroof. Just really lets everything in. I'm all the way in the back seat, and there is just tons of space still back here, not only for my head, but also there's tons of window space. Looks really, really phenomenal. Lets everything in. It's a great feature. Absolutely love it. The headliner here is actually done in an Alcantara-like fashion. Feels very nice to the touch, and it really gives the whole entire interior a more upscale feel. Really impressed with the amount of legroom back here. It's extremely spacious vehicle, and that is something that's really important in a family car like this. You want it to be spacious and comfortable, and this definitely fits the bill. The rear seats also can recline. Very, very comfortable. Honestly, really surprised at the level of space in this vehicle. We have a couple of USB ports here, and then we also have a regular outlet here as well. You can plug in your laptop or anything you need to right here, which is really convenient. We also have heated seats in the rear as well, which is a nice surprise. Definitely a lot of value here for around the $42,000 mark. Lots of value, lots of features. And then stepping along to the rear here, as you can see here, we have the H-Trek all-wheel drive system. And then here we have the 2.5-liter turbocharged engine. And again, talk about tons of space back here. I mean, we have 3 bags back here, still tons of room. We also have some nice little storage compartments down here as well, which is great. So really forward thinking about all the spatial needs in this guy right here. Really impressed, again, with just how much room is offered. Of course, it is a power lift gate. There you go. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and step inside, talk about some of the technology aspects and multimedia system. All right, guys, so we are now on the interior. We're gonna go ahead and start it up. Now, first things is this key actually has the parking assist. So if you lock the car, hold it to start, you can actually reverse out of a parking space. Now, at first I thought, that's cool, but it's a little bit gimmicky. But, as a matter of fact, I live in an apartment building. I park in a parking structure in a very heavily populated area, and this comes in handy because especially in some of the smaller parking spots, it's a very tight. So it's really nice to have this option to go ahead and have the car back out for you. That's primarily how I use it, is backing out, and it works really well and surprisingly useful. So have that feature on the high trim level here. Obviously, it is push to start. Keyless entry, of course. And here we have our gauge display. It's a nice screen setup. We have various information. If we're in a route, we can do navigation settings. We can display tire pressure as we're driving. This screen displays where all of our power delivery is going from the all-wheel drive system. So normally it drives in front-wheel drive for optimal efficiency, but then if it detects you need a little more traction to the rear wheels, it will go ahead and deploy that, and you can see all that from that screen. We have a driver attention alert, and then we have this right here, which as we're driving on the highway, we have different safety features engaged. It will change screens and show you, which systems are engaged. So if you have lane keeping on, it will show that. If you have cruise control on, it will show that, and the car is in front of you in distance and all that good stuff. Now, I have here selected the ICE gauges. There are actually a couple different options for gauges, which I will go into in just a moment. But as far as features go, we have lane keep assist, which is great. If we want that on, we can toggle that switch right there. But that is different from our cruise control, this lane keep assist. So when we have cruise control on, we can have this on or off. This will actually take a more direct approach at keeping the car centered in the lane. So, you still have to have your hands on the wheel, of course, but it does help you on longer drives. Just requires a slightly less effort on your part as far as, always keeping it centered in the lane. It helps you out just a little bit. So that's nice to have. As far as the interior goes, right here for the center stack area, design-wise, we have that material continued throughout. It's a sportier. They're trying to be a little sporty here. It feels okay. Nothing crazy. We do have wireless charging here. We have a cup holder, USB. Love the wireless charging, though. There's actually a phone. It's actually a phone holder, and it keeps it in place. So that's really nice. Another cup holder right here. And that closes up. Right here, we have cooled seats, 3 different levels for that. Heated seats, of course, both passenger and driver. We have the heated steering wheel, auto stop start off button. And then right here, we have a button press for your gear selection. Right here, we have our drive mode selector. We can, of course, go to smart, comfort, sport, or snow mode. In the different modes, it changes the response just a little bit of the vehicle. Now, if we want, we can go ahead and press the parking camera button, and that will go ahead and give us a detailed view of everything that's going on. Love this screen right here. Every car should have this, but most don't. That is a rear wheel screen, so we can actually look at the rear wheels. So when we're parallel parking, which I do all the time in the city, you can see how close you are to the curb so that you do not scrape the wheels. It is fantastic feature. We also have the 360-degree bird's eye view there as well. Now, if we put it into drive, it changes. We now look front facing instead, and we have the front wheels now as well. So not just for the rear, but also for the front. Again, with bird's eye view on the right-hand side. Phenomenal job with the cameras. I absolutely love that. Really makes driving and parking so much easier. We have all of our climate buttons right here. We have 3 different levels of control for the auto. So if we want the fan on high, medium, or low, it will adjust accordingly. The premium Harman Kardon audio system is quite good. I believe it's 680 watts or around there, perhaps just a slight bit more. Provides really good, crisp, clear sound. I'd say a bit above average for the category. So that's nice to have a premium radio that really does do the trick. Premium stereo, rather. Now, I really like how this screen is positioned here. It's not too large to take away from the driving, but it's also large enough so that you can get all the information you need. And this is what I like to call their calm screen. We have the radio, whatever's playing on there. If you have Bluetooth, or in this case satellite radio, it shows right there. It has the weather, and then over here we have a little navigation, but it's faded into the background. So really like that. Very easy system to use, quick to the touch. Definitely, again, one of the easier systems that I really like. We can go quickly into the setup, device connections. We do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capabilities, but it does have to be plugged in via the USB port down here. It is not wireless. Hoping to see that in the next generation. So if we go here to general real quick, and I'm sorry, I wanted to go to vehicle. If we go to vehicle real quick, we can see here all of the different safety settings. So we have our smart cruise control. We can set that if we want it to be a little bit more aggressive or slower in regards to how quick it accelerates or decelerates. We have driving convenience settings. So this is what I was talking about, the highway driving assist. So depending on what you have everything, your speed set at, and which settings you have engaged. If you have the highway driving assist on, it will again help you keep the car centered in the lane. Warning time, we have a warning, but then not just warning, is we have the forward safety with active assist. So what that actually will do is stop the vehicle. It'll actually stop it if it detects a collision, which is important, especially if you're looking away for just a second, they stop quick in front of you, the car will come to a complete stop by itself. Heads-up display, great to have on this car. Definitely something that's not available in other vehicles in this segment. And then the gauge cluster is where I wanted to show you guys. Cool different themes. So we have that ice theme. This is the classic theme. It looks fine, but I prefer what I like to call classic B, the ice theme. Just a little bit darker. I feel like it fits with this particular interior combination a little bit better. And then we have the sport mode. This is obviously, not a very sporty car, so we'll keep it in classic B. And then there's also a cube, which is, I think it's fun and cool, but honestly, it's a little bit distracting. So we like that one. But it's cool that they have, different gauge clusters to choose from, different themes and designs. So definitely like that. As far as the interior quality goes, it's really good. I like the design. It feels very open up here. Large dashboard, nice tight stitching here on the interior, some ambient lighting, lots of storage compartments. They did a good job. And I think that as far as interiors go for this segment, it's definitely near or at the top of the segment. We also are really looking at, the vehicles like the Chevrolet Blazer and Ford Edge as its top competition. These are the other, total of 2-row vehicles that seat 5 people relatively comfortably that are at the same price point. So those are going to be, its top competition in my opinion. And we're going to go ahead now and take it out on the road and talk about how it drives. All right, guys, so we are about to take this guy out on the road, and we're talking here about 277 horsepower and 311 pounds of torque from the turbocharged 2.5 liter engine. Now, it's a good amount of power. The vehicle, it definitely feels peppy around town, and it really does have enough to get up and go. So it's a good amount of power. It definitely, it gets moving, especially, in that initial, like around 0 to 60 miles per hour. Plenty of power. It's definitely a good acceleration, strong acceleration. Really love this transmission too. It's so quick, so snappy to respond to shifts. Very impressive. Definitely the best transmission in the segment. It's actually a dual clutch setup. So shifts are super quick, very smooth, which really add to that experience. So yeah, when you combine the all-wheel drive, H-Track all-wheel drive, which this vehicle has, you have the more powerful engine and this dual clutch transmission. That is the same transmission across all of the models, no matter which engine you get. And when I say any of the models, I mean just the standard Hyundai Santa Fe. We're not talking about like the plug-in hybrid or anything like that. I'm pretty sure they have the same transmission, but I'm not 100%. They might have a CVT on the hybrid and plug-in or plug-in hybrid. Again, not 100% certain. So, when you combine that power, all the torque, low torque with this, great trans, it's a nice drive. Now, one thing, well, really a couple things that I'll say about it that I think could be improved upon would just be the steering feel. It's very disconnected from the road, and there's a fair amount of play in the wheel, and that's for people who are just kind of cruising along. Makes driving a little bit easier, but it's definitely not as responsive as I would like it to be. The other thing is that the suspension and ride doesn't feel as planted as vehicles like the Chevrolet Blazer or Ford Edge. It feels a little bit more top heavy. There's a little bit more body roll, especially in the corners. And I just wish we could get it to be a little more stable. And there's when you really step on the brakes hard and heavy, there's quite a bit of body throw. Obviously, whenever you step hard on the brakes, you are going to get a certain level of body throw, but on this vehicle it's more apparent again than in the competition. But where this car really does pull ahead of the competition is this transmission is really good, and the interior design and quality is also quite good. So give and takes, depends on what you're looking for. So we definitely appreciate the engine's quick response and all that torque. Definitely again feels nice and peppy around town, and plenty of power. Great power delivery, smooth, quick, and the transmission is really good. So we'll kind of give you a quick little demonstration of that right there. We'll do like a medium throttle. So just notice those shifts, very quick, very smooth, and that's definitely really appreciated. Really makes the driving experience pleasant. Now, however, one area in my opinion where this vehicle really could use a helping hand would be in the steering feel. It's there's a fair amount of play in the wheel, and that's that's on purpose. They made it that way so it's easier driving, right? So personally though, I prefer something that has more precise steering, more in tune with what's happening on the road. And this vehicle really does play into the let's make it easy to drive. And I think that people really prefer something that's a little more in touch with what's going on in the front wheels. Also, this vehicle has more body roll than the others in this segment. When you're into the curves, you can feel the body rolling a bit more. And also under heavy braking too, there's a bit more throw as well compared to some of the competition. So on one hand, it has the best transmission in the segment, solid engine, but then when it comes to handling, it falls behind a little bit. So it really kind of depends on what you're looking for and what you're comfortable with, to what makes sense for you to buy. But again, it depends on what you're looking for. We also have a ton of cargo space in this model, tons of rear leg seat room. So if what you're going for is the best family vehicle that's highly efficient, affordable, with lots of safety features, and you're not as concerned about how it handles, then I'd say the Santa Fe is a really solid choice. But if you're looking for something with a little bit more pizzazz on the road, you might want to look at the Ford Edge ST or the Chevrolet Blazer, which the transmission's just not going to be as good in either of those models as this guy. So as far as the overall driving experience, I think that the Santa Fe really does provide a nice balance. But again, it's definitely going to be, as far as handling goes, on the less sporty side of things. Hyundai Santa Fe really is an appealing vehicle in this segment. It has tons of room. I think that's a huge component. What makes it so great is just the amount of rear leg seat room that you get, the amount of rear cargo space. That's really important. Some of the nifty little areas you have, like I showed you guys in the trunk, how it opens. Really great for families and traveling and cargo space. It really has you there. Great value, top safety pick. So it hits some really important points. It really does well in those areas, and really nice interior too, especially in the calligraphy model and higher trim levels. Lots of leather, the Napa leather, the black headliner, really nice, and even again the heated rear seat. So that's great. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them. And you guys take care, and until next time, I'm Kyle with Unboxed Autos.